You know, every single day is just one choice after another. Some are small, some are huge, life-altering decisions. Today, we're going to unpack a really powerful 7-step framework that will help you go from feeling stuck to making confident, effective choices. Let's jump right in.
We've all been there, haven't we? Just staring down a major choice and you're completely frozen. That feeling of paralysis, it's totally universal. But what if I told you there's a structured way to just slice right through that fog?
And look, the stakes are super high. One really good decision can swing open doors to new opportunities and shield you from risk. But a poor one, well, that can lead to major setbacks, a ton of stress, and just missed chances. So mastering this isn't just a nice to have, it's absolutely essential for building the future you actually want.
And here's the best part. Making great decisions isn't some magic talent you're born with. Not at all. It's a skill. Think of it like a muscle. And just like any muscle, it gets stronger with the right kind of training. This framework we're about to walk through, that's your workout plan.
Okay, so the first phase of any great decision is all about laying the groundwork. Because before you can even start to think about finding the right answer, you have to be absolutely sure you're asking the right question.
And that brings us right to step 1. Identify the problem. And I mean, really identify it. It is so easy to get caught up fighting the symptoms instead of the actual disease, right? Just remember this. A problem that's clearly defined is a problem that's already halfway solved. So get it down on paper and ask yourself, what is the real challenge I'm facing here? This is where we get into the super critical idea of a root cause. Just look at this example. You could try 100 different things to fix low productivity, but if the real root cause is that nobody has unclear goals, you're just going to be spinning your wheels forever. Tackling that root cause is the only way to find a solution that actually lasts.
So once you know the real problem, it's time for step 2, gather your information. Now, this is not about creating a mountain of data that you can't possibly dig through. This is more like strategic intelligence gathering. You want to find reliable sources, figure out what's actually relevant, and really focus on quality over quantity. That's how you make a truly informed choice.
Okay, so the problem is defined. We've done our research. Now we move into the analytical core of this whole process. This is where we really start to explore all the different paths you could take.
Step 3 is all about opening your mind and considering all the alternatives. The biggest rule here? No judgment. Not yet. Just get every single potential solution out on the table. This stops you from just jumping to the first obvious answer, and it forces you to think about what happens next week and what happens next year. And now for step 4, where we make all this abstract stuff tangible. A simple little pros and cons table, just like this one, lets you systematically look at the risks and benefits of every single option. All of a sudden, these ideas aren't just floating around in your head anymore. They're organized, right there in black and white, ready for a clear, logical comparison.
All right, the groundwork is laid, the options have been weighed. Now, the energy shifts. We're moving away from analysis and into action.
Because listen, there comes a point where more analysis is really just procrastination. You've done the work, you've weighed the options, and now you have to trust the process. It is time to make a choice.
Which brings us to step 5. Make the decision and then commit to it. Indecision is a huge drain on your time and your energy. Once you pick a path based on your analysis, you gotta go all in. Real progress only, and I mean only, begins after you fully commit.
But, a decision without a plan is pretty much just a wish. So step 6 is all about implementation. A great choice means nothing if it isn't executed well. And that means creating a clear action plan, keeping an eye on how it's going, and being ready to make little adjustments along the way to keep everything on track. But the process isn't over just because you've taken action. Oh no. We've arrived at the final and maybe the most important phase, turning every single outcome into a lesson for the future.
And that final step, step 7, is to learn from the outcome. Look, whether it was a huge success or a total disaster, every decision is a goldmine of data. The key is to analyze what happened without playing the blame game. Just ask yourself, what can I learn from this to make my next decision even better?
This whole mindset is captured perfectly in this idea. Embrace failure as feedback, not defeat. When you start to see failure as just information, as data, every setback becomes a setup for your next success. It's so powerful.
So there you have it, the complete 7-step framework. From clearly identifying the real problem, to gathering information, weighing alternatives, committing to a choice, executing it, and finally learning from the whole thing. It's a full cycle that actually makes you smarter every single time you use it.
So, I'll leave you with this question. Think about a decision that you're facing right now, big or small. Now that you have this framework, what are you going to do differently?